So, first of all, I just wanted to say that I will be making changes to this channel very gradually and very slowly over time. So, whenever you see a name change, don't be surprised. But I wanted to speak on something legal-wise. From my time of dealing with the people that I used to deal with that I no longer associate with, nor do I speak with, which is the topic of trolling and how it can lead to legal ramifications.
That's a fucking lie, you dumb hooker.
Oh boy, it's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time to take a look at what the little turd goblin's been doing over the weekend, since Uncle Swampy D actually has things to do. And of course, Cyraxx is back to his ranting and raving as always. I bet you would have never have guessed that, but this time now he's crying about his buddies, his buddy trolls, to be honest. And he's really starting to get heated up with this Katie character now, so I guess we're just gonna have to keep on watching and see what's going on. So grab a snack, get a drink or two, and get ready.
For both parties. I'm here to speak up for the victim side of things and why I personally feel like victims that even if they are pushed to do illegal things in order to fight back when they've already exhausted every single resource they can, why they should not be held responsible for their actions and why they should not be jailed for fighting for their life. Because I myself have been in that position, so I can very much speak on these actions and speak on the subject matter. I myself have been the victim of trolling for over 8 years. Many times my family has tried to reach out for help, over 113 times, through every single branch of law enforcement, yet we received no help.
I really went to the bathroom just now, got a Q-tip and cleaned my ear out because I was like, there ain't no way I heard this right. And of course, good old Swampy D's ears are working just fine because, unfortunately, say it ain't so chancy you think that just because you were bullied or whatever means that you should have been able to do whatever you wanted because people didn't immediately go after these people when you said to, even though you are a known pathological liar, and labeled a 43 among the Akron Police Department. You really think any of them would do anything about this? Of course, Cyraxx is going to keep spewing that nonsense, so we're not going to listen to him talk about how his family called 113 times. I'm not going to do that to you guys.
I first tried to do things the right way and ignore it, and it even got to the point to where I left the internet for 3 or 4 months just to see if it would subside, and it didn't. It just got worse and worse and worse. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna try to ignore them. I'm gonna try to do my job and ignore them, and at that point they just kept on reporting on my channel, stealing my stuff, doing this, doing that, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Same song and dance they've been doing. Well, here's where things got messy. At one point, they pushed me to attempts 2 different times about 5 years ago.
You know it's gonna be bad and very long-winded when even Chance himself is saying yada yada yada, etc, every 5 seconds because he doesn't want to go, because even he himself doesn't want to hear the same BS lies again and again. The subconscious really saying a lot of things there. But of course, we're back to the cycle where Cyraxx is now gonna try to talk about these, quote, sewer slide attempts that he did 5 years ago, which we all know is just a foam-tipped stylus put up to his neck. This is what you make me do, Marty.
And after that, they began to do worse things, such as mail theft, forgery, destruction of property, swatting on an almost lethal level, and even went as far as to DDoS. Not only myself on a regular level in general, but when I would do live streams, they would often DDoS me, leaving me vulnerable and helpless. Now, the reason why I feel, and honestly truly believe why victims of that caliber like myself should not be held responsible for what we do, no matter what it is that we do to retaliate, whether it's, doing extreme stuff like what I did, or whether it's, whatever it may be. That person should not be held responsible for their actions, especially when they have exhausted every single resource of law enforcement that they can, whether it's police, detectives, FBI, SVU.
Cyraxx truly is grasping at any threads here to try to make his situation sound worse every single time he tells it. A nearly deadly level of swatting is definitely a very egregious exaggeration of what actually went down, Cyraxx. There was like 4 or 5 cops at most, and they had flashlights out, not guns. And if they did, they definitely weren't pointed at you, buddy. There's literal video representation of most of this online, so it's kind of funny when he tries to rewrite history all the time, because we could just throw clip after clip after clip proving him wrong every single time.
That victim, that person that's being victimized, should not be held accountable for their actions given the circumstance of the level that has taken place. Because no matter how you cut it, that person is merely only trying to do what they can to make the situation better. They're trying to make a situation in which local law enforcement is refusing to step in, and they're merely trying to put a stop to the problem. And this is a very common theme. This is a very common theme, especially within the troll community and what the trolls consider a lolcow, which I used to be a lolcow, but I'm not anymore because I've left the troll community. I'm not involved with them.
Oh, silly Cyraxx, you don't get to decide that you're not a lolcow anymore because you seemingly are claiming that you left the community that you're not a part of, like, at all. Again, you said you're a lolcow, you're not a troll, so that would mean that you're not a part of the troll community. You're what the troll community watches, points, and laughs at. You're the monkey that's gonna be dancing, if you know what I mean. And trust me, boy, we're gonna get you dancing again. Chance really is deluded, though, trying to argue some absolutely asinine thing here. Oh, well, people didn't help me when I asked for help, so now I can pull my wiener out on live stream. I can show people my butthole. I can tell them that I'm gonna kill their children, etc., etc. None of this ever really makes sense, so none of us should be surprised, but it is still pretty funny.
The only time I ever speak on that, I'm defending a friend or standing up for a friend. That is the only time I will ever engage with them. Even if they leave shitty comments, I ignore it.
Are you sure about that?
But if you ask me, these people that are being considered lolcows and are getting tricked into doing illegal stuff for no reason but monetary gain, or to be extorted, like what I've had done to me many times.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and I think that statement is very tried and true here in the Cyraxx story. He will constantly talk about how they're just forced into these things, tricked into these things. But yet, Cyraxx, the only person in control of your actions is yourself. Nobody else can make you do something. You weren't at gunpoint. There was no knife to your throat. You were in a room by yourself and on your own volition chose to do these things. And that's the truth of the matter here, and we can try to distort it as much as we want, but once you cut it every single way, like you said, that's what's going to be there at the end. That you, Chance Wilkins, on your own volition, decided to do these weird, creepy things.
Along with illegal entrapment, property damage, you name it. I've had a lot of fucked up shit done to me. That person should not be held responsible. If anything, the person or the persons, the people, they should be the ones held responsible for everything. Because when you back a dog into a corner, and you're taunting it, and you're teasing it, and you're doing whatever you can to get in its face, eventually that dog is going to snap back. And when that dog does bite back and snap at you, it is going to be your fault for antagonizing that animal.
So of course Cyraxx is just deflecting any sort of accountability, and everything is everybody else's fault. Every time he pulled out his wing, it was everybody else's fault. Every time he showed his butthole, it was everybody else's fault. Every time he assaulted his grandmother, it was everybody else's fault. Every time he assaulted his exes, it was everybody else's fault. Every time he got caught up trying to send his wiener to little kids, it was everybody else's fault, Anyways, we could go crazy listening to this, so let's jump into another one of the videos he uploaded this weekend.
What's up, everybody? I know it's late, but I'm making this quick video to break down and explain what I was saying in my last video. I really want to break this down for everybody. First of all, because I get this question asked all the time, do I believe Chris Chan should have been arrested? No, I do not. And I know it sounds crazy, but there's a reason why.
Well, geez. Of course, Cyraxx doesn't think somebody like Chris Chan didn't deserve to get arrested for what they did. And let's not forget what Chris Chan did to his dementia-ridden mother now. I don't care how many times you want to try to defend that. That's just deplorable, Cyraxx, and makes people hate you even more. Not only are you a weird guy yourself online, but now you're a defender of the most deplorable, despicable people ever? Jeez, I guess color me surprised.
Because when you really dig into Chris Chan's history, he was mentally disabled, and people took advantage of that. People took advantage of the fact that he was mentally challenged and mentally disabled and used it to their advantage to trick him into his own mom. Now, was it wrong what he did? Yes, but it's also not entirely his fault. Now, if you want to get into the shit with Anaconda Sin, yeah, Anaconda Sin does deserve to be arrested for the shit she did. Her own dog. And that's fucking disturbing, bro. She deserves to be arrested.
I mean, in my opinion, I think they both deserve to be arrested and locked up for a very long time, if not forever. I think it's absolutely deplorable on both ends. Whether it's a dog or a dementia-ridden woman, an elderly woman at that, it's absolutely mind-blowing. What are we comparing here, Cyraxx? Anaconda Sin is probably just as mentally ill as fucking Chris Chan at this point. Really just seems like Cyraxx is still salty that he got pumped and dumped by old Anna there, and he's still just mad about it. 'Cause he never mentioned her name before, he wasn't a martyr about this cause before. But I guess none of us should be surprised that Cyraxx is saying some incredibly regarded stuff as always.
There are certain Lolcows, like Daniel Larson, who may be mentally unwell, but he is also very unhinged. He doesn't necessarily deserve to be arrested. If anything, he needs to be put in a fucking psych ward and not let the fuck out. That's what he needs. He needs the fucking mental ward. Because let me tell you right now, I have studied a lot of true crime shit over the years. I know it might not look like I did, but trust me, I have studied a lot of true crime stuff. And one thing that I have found that is very prominent in a lot of cases, like with Daniel Larson, people like that are genuinely unhinged.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that Daniel Larson is in the loony bin then, Cyraxx, and that's exactly where you should be soon, and hopefully shortly you will be there. Maybe even be his bunkie. I'm sure Daniel will put a few beats on you after he hears how you've been talking about him, though. It's crazy how somebody like Daniel Larson is on Cyraxx's radar as being the worst, but a Chris Chan isn't? It's kind of crazy. Doesn't make any damn sense. Oh sure, now out of nowhere, Cyraxx is a true crime pro. Oh, give me a freaking break, bro.
I literally got arrested for defending my fucking home and protecting my family. I got arrested for protecting my fucking own. The same as any other fucking normal human being would fucking do. And it's bullshit. I shouldn't have even been arrested. It don't matter whether the motherfucker was on the sidewalk or on our fucking property. That shouldn't matter. The point was that motherfucker showed up to harass my family, and I do not feel bad about what I did. As a matter of fact, I'm proud. And you wanna know why?
No.
Because at that point, I got tired of being harassed. Plus, there were several other people on our lawn. A lot of our neighbors from down that way over there were coming down onto our property and putting my family in danger.
It should be no surprise that Cyraxx doesn't know shit about the law, and Cyraxx is absolutely deluded in his little brain there. Everything he says about any other Lolcow or any other person in general is usually just a self-reflection of himself. Cyraxx literally took that playground saying, "I know you are, but what am I?" and made that his entire personality, and here we are at 35 years old, living in his grandma's attic. Never had a job, never made $1 in his life. But apparently we're supposed to take this guy's opinions and thoughts very, very seriously, even though he has no life experience, so none of these thoughts, none of these opinions literally have any merit behind them.
And when it comes to protecting my family, I will do whatever it fucking takes to protect my family. But the one thing I will not stand for above all else is watching innocent people like myself and like Chris Chris Chan and other people that get taken advantage of being jailed for shit. Now, do I agree with what Chris Chan did? No. It was wrong. I will admit that. It was wrong. But also, you gotta look at the people that were involved. He got taken advantage of. And that's what people refuse to look at. People refuse to look at the fact that he was taken advantage of and manipulated. People refuse to look at that. Just like people refuse to look at the fact that I never wanted to be brought into the troll community or the Lolcow community. That's why I do not consider myself a Lolcow.
Yep, Chris Chan definitely got taken advantage of a lot in that story, but, you know, at the end of the day, he still did those things, and, you know, you have to pay the price for the things you do in life. And unfortunately, that's just how it goes, Cyraxx. It doesn't matter how you feel about it, because morality is not gonna just skew because you don't agree with it, because you got caught doing some things that you don't like. But of course, Cyraxx is going back to the argument that he's not a lolcow, he never wanted to be a part of it, so that means he's not. And unfortunately, Cyraxx, most lolcows don't choose to be in that place, they just end up being that.
When you call somebody a lolcow, you're basically saying that they're good for nothing more than a laugh, and that's it. That's basically what you're saying, that they're worthless, that their life has no meaning. Now, there are certain lolcows that I will admit that do deserve to be arrested, such as Anaconda Sin, Tony the Black Dragon, White Bowser. Those people deserve to be arrested because you got Tony the Black Dragon who got arrested, who, from my understanding, got arrested and then charges got dropped or something. I don't know what the fuck on, but he's still out. People like Tony the Black Dragon should not be allowed out. This motherfucker got caught with on a USB stick and on a USB drive. People like him do not deserve to be free. If anything, people like him deserve to rot in prison for the rest of their miserable fucking lives.
If only Cyraxx could truly understand that people like me and many others watching this series feel the exact same way that he does about Tony. We think he should be locked up and never allowed out. He's a danger to people online, whether they're teenagers or whether they're of age. He's just a prolific sex pest that deserves to be in a padded room. He has an ego bigger than the Empire State Building for no justifiable reason. The man has never left his grandmother's house. He doesn't know what he's doing in life. He has no experience and no skills, but yet he thinks he's the god of absolutely everything he thinks he's a part of. He's not in the racing scene, he's not in the e-racing scene, he's not in the music scene, he's not in the underground music scene, he's not in anything, he's just in his attic.
If anything, we should be left the fuck alone to our own devices to do what we do. For me, it's music and gaming content. For other people, it may be something else. For me, it's three things: my artwork, gaming content, and music. Those are the things that I do. I sit here, sip on soda and coffee all damn day, game out on my Kindle, my phone, my Chromebook, hang out with friends, hang out with family, and make content, music, work on a little bit of artwork here and there. That's it. That's all I do. I don't bother nobody. I don't fuck with nobody. I mind my own business.
If I'm honest, nobody ever should leave Cyraxx alone to his own devices. We've seen what he does when you leave him alone, and that's go after teenagers, randomly send his wing-wang to people of all shapes and sizes and ages, running around the internet, screaming, hooting and hollering, stealing people's music, stealing people's artwork, and just overall being a very bad guy, supporting people like Chris Chan of all people.
I mean, come on, I competed in the Forza Horizon World Cup last year and helped the US come in 7th place out of over 34 different countries. And I'm proud to say that I was part of that. I'm proud to say that I was part of that historic moment for the Forza franchise. And I had fun doing it. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Like, come on, I did the Outrun Open Drift events back in 2021, which was a fucking blast. And then obviously I've done the top 32 drift events for CarX Drift Racing Online. Not to mention I've taken several wins doing competitive racing through F1 2020 and all that shit.
We've been through this time and time again, but I can tell you factually 100% real that Cyraxx has never competed in any of these events. Most of what he's done is just campaigns, sometimes they might be online, and he's racing against a couple of other people. The only time he actually ended up in any sort of quote tournament, he came in 19 out of 20 because somebody disconnected from the server. Cyraxx is genuinely dog water, absolute cheeks at any racing game ever. To pretend like he did anything for anybody ever with his online racing career is a complete and utter lie.
That's where you get it twisted. I've gotten to the point to where I can tell when somebody's being an asshole and when somebody's being genuine. That's why I ban motherfuckers that, talk shit, because a lot of them, they don't give a fuck about being genuine. They give a fuck about being a troll. There's a difference when you want to have a genuine conversation, you're not going to be disrespectful to that person. You're going to be very respectful. You're going to treat that person as a normal human being, not as this internet personality, not as this character. You're going to approach them as a normal fucking human being. Like, prime example, dude, you met me on the street and I didn't know who you were, and you approached me and said, hey dude, I saw your video, whatever, yada yada yada, and you wanted to sit down and have a conversation with me. Like if you said, hey, I wanted to sit down and have a conversation, can we talk? Absolutely. See, I'm the kind of person where in order to get respect, you gotta give respect.
Oh yes, folks, if anybody at all was the spitting image of respect and kindness, it would definitely be Chance Wilkins, aka Cyraxx, the crybaby of the internet. The biggest liar we've ever seen. Probably one of the most prolific predators to never actually do jail time on the internet.
That explains my last video. Like, that literally explains the entirety of the video. I was not trying to sit there and say that, Anaconda Sin don't deserve to be arrested, because clearly she does. Like, seriously, that is like the worst thing you could do to a person, because you're not just affecting them in that moment, you're affecting the rest of their fucking life with that shit. That is something they have to live with for the rest of their fucking life. Like I said, I'm just a regular ass dude out here trying to make an honest living, doing my job as a music artist and as a content creator. That's it. I'm not out here bothering nobody. I'm not out here picking fights with nobody. I'm just an average Joe out here trying to make an honest living, dude. That's it. And for people to get in the way of that because I look different is kind of like, and that's what it's always been about. That's literally the main reason of what it's always been about with Marty, Mastro Mafia, and all these people. They see me as an easy target.
Yes, Chance, the only reason you have ever been targeted is because you are an easy target because you look funny. That's 100% why all these people call you a PDF, a woman abuser, a blind kid R-worder, and everything in between. It's because you look the way you do. That's 100% the truth, and we all can definitely get on the same page as that, right guys? Cyraxx doesn't believe his own lies, so why should we? Anyways, let's finish this out by listening to some more delusions from another video from the Goblin.
What is up? Good morning, everybody. I'm just gonna jump right into it. With the current departure of my former moderator, Cynical, I am here to explain why I refuse to be silent about what goes on. And it's actually pretty simple, because I don't see anybody else speaking out about it other than guys like William Glory. Like, I see people like my good friend CIA Hole speaking out in a good manner. And the reason why I brought William Glory Hole up first, right off rip, it's because he's on the other side of things and he tries to make it look like he's not doing anything, but in actuality he's literally one of the biggest perpetrators of all.
I know it's not the same person, but I also have a mod named Cynical, whatever you want to call him. And you know what, if you're the same person, brother, I'm about to have to get Fink out here and we're gonna have to paddle you some. But on a serious note here, of course you would bring up William Glory Hole first, because William Glory Hole lives rent-free in the Goblin's head. The Goblin claims he's a god, but we all know who the Goblin's god is, and that's William Gloryhole Esquire III, a true gentleman.
Dude, Cynical, you say that you have a channel for court cases. Okay, if that's the case, you would know that a judge looks at both sides of the situation equally. You just showed that you're one-sided. And you showed what side you're on, and it definitely ain't the good side. While people like me and CIA Hole are over here defending people like ourselves and trying to help those that we can, telling us to stay silent. No, I'm not going to stay silent. I refuse refuse to stay silent. I will continue to speak out against the troll community, and I will not hide the truth of how I really feel about a situation. And good God, William Gloryhole is already being investigated by the FBI.
I can guarantee you, every single human being that is watching this video right now, whether live on the premiere or afterwards, just on YouTube as you would casually, William Gloryhole is 100% not under investigation by the FBI, the CIA, the NCIS, or the LGBTQIA plus of America. Nobody's looking into William, but you know who they might be looking into there? Might be looking into the Goblin.
And if you don't believe me, y'all can go over and look at, even though I'm not good friends with the guy, I just happened to see the post because one of my friends sent it to me. But Big T made a post where William Gloryhole is currently being investigated by the FBI for the shit that he's done to him and the shit that he's done to me and several other people. Hell, I even made a report my damn self right after I seen the post. And I let the feds know, hey, here's another thing that this dude did. Here's another thing that William Gloryhole did.
Oh, give us a break, Cyraxx. What did Big T say that can be taken at all serious? Anything that guy says has to be taken with a super big bag of salt because he's a lion just like you are. Most people are calling him Big Rax at this point because he's a larger version of you. He lies, he makes stuff up, and he's nothing but a loser. Oh no, I guess the FBI is gonna be looking into me now because I disagree with you.
I know that a lot of people are pretty pissed off at me about my stance on how I feel about Christian. Well, I'm sorry, but I refuse to change my stance on that. I refuse to speak out against what I said. I will die on that fucking mountain. I will die on that hilltop. Because I honestly feel that if people did not take advantage of him like they did, he might not have done what he did. That wanted to use him. That wanted to see him commit a crime for their own fucking entertainment. And how did they do it? They took advantage of him mentally. They took advantage of the fact that he was mentally not altogether there. That he was mentally challenged. And that he didn't have any real friends to hang out with that actually saw him as a person. But instead, everybody saw him a internet being.
Oh boy, we could watch the same stuff over and over and make this video an hour long for you every single day, but I'm not gonna do that to you, so we're gonna cut it here. I'm sure Cyraxx will upload more videos later today after I upload this, as he always does, but you know I'll be here tomorrow to give you those updates, so you don't have to suffer and listen to his god-awful audio, watch him drool on himself, and consistently choke all over his own spittle. Be sure to hit that like button, throw your comments down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon.
No, I didn't forget the bedbug jug, I'm waiting for it. Bedbug jug, bedbug jug, bedbug jug, bedbug jug. I'ma need that shit. Run me that shit.